Kitzur, Vaydaber Vaydaber Mushel Rashi Matos Komer Vaydaber Tavkuf Samach Zayin. Kitzur Inyan Vaydaber, the concept of this is the thing, the concept of Zev in V'inyan Achi Yidur B'davar Anador, and the concept that you have to make a neder on something that it can fall upon, has to be a permissible thing. Through the speech of a person, you forbid something permissible. And we can say that it's connected to the idea of how the positive commandments are in Vavke, but the negative commandments, the things that are forbidden, they're on the level of Yud K. So the neder corresponds with that negative commandment as well. Because you remove yourself from the forbidden. And this is like the idea of grasping the negative and not grasping the essence. What you negate and you say it's not like this, it's not like that, and you can't point to it, so that reaches a higher level. And we can say that not like the losasi, I guess, when you forbid something that's permissible, so you grasp a little bit of the essence because it's a permissible thing that could be grasped, but you take it to the level of a sagas law. So since it's still something permissible, I guess there's also a concept of grasping there. It's both grasping and the negative as well at the same time. The hey law and the concept of the higher hey. When you take the sagas into the hey law, and similarly it's explained in the Maamar about the closed garden concerning that sweeter to me of the words of the Sofrim, that the words of the Sofrim are like on that level as well. You're grasping a higher level. Kitzur Beis of Sif Beis, we need to understand how through speech do you forbid something permissible. We need to also understand how in the sacrifices you need to sanctify it with your mouth specifically. How also with sacrifices can you atone for the sin of man? Bishir Ashirim, B'dibur Maskil Baftini, B'dibur Or, B'dibur Maskil, Ba'ir al Avraham, B'dibur Maskil, Usri la Gafni Ro. V'yesh lahaktim inyan achor v'kadem tzartani. We can preface the idea of how you created me back and forth. Achor l'maisi breishis. Back to the works of creation. Shafilu yitush kadmecha. That what does it mean that we're created back, that we were created below even the mosquito? But nonetheless, at the same time, the whole entire world was only created to be commanded by this, or commanded to the man. For the purpose of man, now the inanimate, the domain, someach, the plant, and the chai, the animal, are rooted higher than the person. Or Parshas Chai, Ksav Yad Kodesh Admor, in the handwriting of the Alter Rebbe, in Parshas Chai Sarah, Shahadim Shoshu Mezir Anpin, Vim Domim Someach Chai Shoshun Mechitzon Yuzbina, that the man is rooted in the concept of Zah, and the inanimate plant and animal are rooted in the external concept of Bina Shalom Ma'ila Mizah. The external concept of understanding that's beyond Ziranpin, and that's why man receives life force from the inanimate plant and animal, in sustenance and garments and housing. And they do not need man, but nonetheless man elevates them all. Because the inanimate plant, animal, and speaker correspond with the four levels, the four worlds of Atzilus, B'ri, Yitzia, Siya, V'imkein ha'adam shu neged Atzilus. And if so, man, which that corresponds with The level of Atzilus, Maila Dumim Sumeachai, elevates the inanimate plant and animal, Shem Neged Bia, which correspond with the lower three worlds, so that's the Kedem. The Achor is that we receive sustenance from these things, and the Kedem is that we elevate them all. Kitzur Gimel v'hinei bir inyan milas domim sumeachai milas adam. Now the explanation of the greatness of the inanimate plant and animal in comparison to man. Yuvan minyan tohu v'atikun. We can understand from the concept of tohu and tikun kizayin midos. The tohu, because the 7 attributes of tohu be'odin l'mayla, as they are above gavo mibechinas atikun, they are higher than the level of tikun. Ki atikun simsum la'idei yud. Because tikun is the contraction through yud. Masalomar hayud hu chachma, that is to say, the yud is wisdom, chachma ikara tikun, and the wisdom is the main concept of tikun. Shalidiat simsum yochalahay bebechinas pnimius, that through the confinement of that corresponds with the yud, you can shine in an inner way, in the kli. That's the simsum of tikun. Which is not the case with tohu. You have the multitude of light from the idea of how merciful Hashem is, how long of countenance, meaning from arich higher than this confinement. But with the breaking of the vessels, that concept fell down further. Which is not the case with man who's from Tikkun, Yaakov Esav. So this also, like the Tikkun in Tohu, corresponds with Yaakov and Esav. The Esav fell down further, even though he was very strong and so forth. And the Dumim Sumeachai are the lower worlds of B'yitzi and Asiyah, even if they have a Shurish in Tohu. We have the concept of the 3 Klippos and the Klippos Noga, which correspond with the ox and the lion. That the lion is very strong, but he's like from but he's from the 3 impure klippos, even though he's stronger because of his shosh and toe and the like. That is to say that in the breaking of the vessels itself, there's levels that fell down all the way, and that which fell down only partially. And the spirit of man goes upwards, as to say that Adam is Shema, and then the spirit of the animal that goes downwards, that's the name Ban, that goes down. But nonetheless, the source of the root of Shem Ban is from Sag, of Shem Sag, that's higher than Shema, just like we're saying here that the Dumim Sumeachai are higher than the Adam, even if the Adam elevates them. And that's that. This is the whole purpose of man, and the whole world was created in order to be commanded to this, meaning that the Adam should be Maila et Va'amar Bayomahu Hine Elokeinu Zeh, and it says we'll say on that day that here is Elokeinu is there. And the inanimate plant and animal, through being purified and elevated, they also elevate man to the level of Sag as well. That is, the nullification of Ma is elevated to exalted upon exalted. So it goes from a concept of bitl l'mayla to a concept of supernal haughtiness. Haga, and the Tzemach Tzedek brings an Haga in this Kitzur Sheish Lomar, we can say that even though the great animal is higher than the level of man, we can say that there's also a concept of the great man that's higher than the great animal, the great man of the giants. We can say We can say that this is the idea of the kav, the line from the cord from the infinite light, that's higher than Adam Kadmon. That's called the Adam of the world of Bria. Shem Av Shalamayla Shem Sag, and like the idea of Shem Av, that's higher than the name Sag. So if the animal goes up to its shorish and Shem Sag, so you still have the Shem Av, which is higher than that, which is the Adam HaGadol. I'm not sure why he says that it's the Kav in Ak, that Ak L'chora would seem to be the Adam HaGadol. But here we're saying that it's the Kav from Moin Sof Inak. And the Adam of Adam Kadmon is the Adam of Bria, meaning seemingly the lower Adam. O Gimel Rishonos the Atik or Ak Ad Ganaga, or you have these three levels of first levels of Atik as opposed to the 7 lower levels of Atik. The Mekedem, the first 3 levels of Atik are, so if these 7 lower levels of Atik are the shorish of the Zayin Melachin that fell down, then the Gimel Rishon, so that corresponds with the Behem Rabba. Or the 3 first levels of Atik might correspond with Adam. So that would be the concept of the Adam HaGadol, or Adam Kadmon. Ad Kanaga, that's the end of that Hagaf from the Tzemach Tzedek. Now in the concept of man, it's written in our likeness, in our image. That is, in the supernal union and the lower union, that man represents these different concepts of supernal union. Pasuk Shema Yisrael, Pasuk Baruch Shem, that corresponds with Shema Yisrael and Baruch Shem, the 2 unions, and there are 2 concepts of the bride, like it says in the Likutei Torah, 2 elevations, the close and nefesh. You have Kala Shiri Levavi and Ishtetza Gushmi. That's the concept of the higher Shechina and the lower Shechina. And therefore the people of Yericho did not stop in between when they said Echad and Ve'ahavta, because they were on the level of Yechudei law, the Shechintoi law. The Reach, B'chinas Eitz HaChaim, B'chinas Tefillin Shel Rosh, the concept of the tree of life, and the head Tefillin B'dibur HaMaschel Simini Kachosam, V'inyan Yechudati Tata, and the concept of the lower union, Zeu Kinyan Hoda L'gabe Bracha, that's like the concept of the acknowledgement in comparison to the blessing. That's the going upwards in comparison to the Hamshacha. Like now the turning of the orbits, that's like a concept of bowing down. Chitzonis, external bowing down. Kinyan karabim modim, like the person who bows down in modim. That's external bowing down. But there's also an inner bowing down, something that happens inside of you. So it's like, I guess, the external Yehuda Tahata and Yehuda Ilah. We can also awaken to this idea of how all knees will bend to you and all figures will bow down to you. So there's also 2 levels of Yishtachava. You have the concept of the Shvatim said to Yaakov, just like in your heart was only one, so too in our heart it's a higher union and the lower union. So with all your hearts, with 2 hearts, 2 concepts of supernal union internally. Kitzur hey, v'hinei bitl yichudat hatanikra gamkin b'chinas malchus shemayim. Now the nullification of the lower level of union, it's a concept of accepting the yoke of heaven. In melech beloam, how you don't have a king without a nation. Rak misha ino korea bib modim. Only you have some people. If you have somebody who doesn't bow in modim, so they don't have that external shtachava. Yichudat hatanikra kidmuseinu. And the lower level of union is the idea of inner likeness. Shalamata yesh v'lamata nikra ayin, that the That which is below is called the existence, and that which is above is called the not. And that's why Bina goes all the way to Hod. It's a concept of Hodah and Modim. And you can't compare listening, which is Bina, to the sight, which is Chachma. So the Bina that goes to Hod, which is Modim, that's a Hodah that comes from the Bitl of Yichud HaTorah. But the Bitl of Yichud HaTorah from Chachma is higher than that. And that's the concept of in our image, the image of Elokim, meaning to say the Bitl of Chachma, Chachmas Adam. And all of this is the greatness of man over animal, that even if an animal has Hodah, it can't compare to the Chachma of the Adam, which is the Bracha of Yichud HaIlah. And the Bitl of that level, Kitzur he calls it Adam who Shalem Ba'atzma B'Tselem Elokim. But all of this is when man is complete in himself, in the likeness of Elokim, in the Tselem. And but when a person blemishes themselves through some kind of sin and iniquity, and the like, and is not shining them this lower union and this higher unity, because they blemish the image of man, that was created in the likeness of Elokim. Because through the sin, a person damages their likeness of Elokim, and they compare it to an animal instead. And therefore, no wild animal can rule over man unless they see them as an animal. That they lost their tzelem Elokim, that they're like an animal to them. Parshas Shlach, Daf Kufnen, Zayin Mud Bezu Beperush Ramaz Sham, Vayin Bemedrish Rabba Bekoelas Sham, Ma Behema Chulu. V'hinei Lechein Daniel Begov Ha'arayos, Baruch Ha'arayos Mimenu. And that's why Daniel, when he was in the lion's den, the lions ran away from him, Ki Haya Bechinas Adam, because he used the concept of man. And that's how what the Zohar says in Vayeshev, that his likeness did not change from the likeness of Elokim. He was still in the Tzelem, Alkin lo shaltu bo ha'arios, therefore the lions did not rule over him. V'zoki tista b'shin shem d'mashmo gamkin ruach shtos, that implies also the spirit of folly, the concept of the animal. When the woman does a foolish thing, it's like the foolishness of the animal as well. The shtus, not just tista, but tishta. And that's from the Klipas Noga, the river of Shittim, the spirit of folly of Znus. And if can zona nafkas para sheinicha kedusha chulvan, this is the zona, the prostitute who's called the one who goes out, nafkas bara, that she left the holiness. Hefech ruach kedusha, the opposite of the spirit of holiness. V'achot b'shchara mahani lo. And somebody who does this by accident, so this helps him that it was by accident to bring a korban. V'avshalom al derech shenis v'arb l'kutei Torah b'shir hashirim softi bar maschil shishim hema derusha rishon binyan degabi v'na yotzei chulu. We can say that this is connected to we can connect this to the idea of what's brought in shishim hema, that when you have the river that goes out of Eden, it says that from there it divides. However, that's the river, the Bina. But the spring comes out of the house of Hashem, like the level of Chachma, I guess. And that waters, this river of Shittim, of the Shtus, elevates the Behema from the concept of Chachmas Adam. וזהו עניין הקורבן שממשיך בחינוס לרחוק, איך כמה וירחוק ממני. And that's the idea of the korban that draws down to the faraway one, the one that's far away. Like Shlomo said, I was wise and it was far away. Shia bebechinas kiruv, that to be drawn close, that's the concept of the korban is lashon kiruv, that which is far to be drawn close, that which is nifrad to be beyichud. So you draw the animal to man, or the ruach behema of shtus to be like chachma of adam. Or that the korban is called my pleasing smell, nachas ruach lafanai, a pleasing wind in front of me, ruach zemai vira ruach shtos, and this ruach, this wind, blows away the spirit of folly, like watering the nachal shitim. So too you have the wind that blows away the wind of folly. It's like in the time to come, the spirit of impurity will be wiped away from the land through the that until awakens upon us a spirit from above, a wind from above. So the wind from above wipes away the wind of impurity. Hagar, and then Hagar from the Tzemach Tzedek on this Kitzur v'zeu tov yashravaya, and that's the idea of how Hashem is good and straight. Al ken yorei chatayim b'darech, therefore he teaches those sinners they're in the way. Hishalu l'chachma nefshocha taschulu, because they asked wisdom, what should the soul that sins do? And he says you should bring a korban, shalu and nevuah. But they asked Nevuah, and Nevuah said, Rashei teradif ra. Ki Nevuah netzachot shehem haskem mechabad metzach osius netzach. Because Nevuah is netzach and hod, which is the that which is decided by Chabad, but you don't have the thought there anymore. So the netzach keeps that decision. It's an expression, an extension of the chachma, but without the wisdom in it. It's the netzach of it, to overcome any other obstacle, because you've decided that in your mind. And then they asked wisdom, so that wisdom is the lower wisdom. This is a different perush. So he's saying that wisdom is, he's implying here that the chachma is below netzach and hod. And the chachma is lower than the netzach and hod. Shalom l'chachma is lower than the l'shalom l'nevuah. V'ay mashkas b'geras hakodesh min yutesti b'ramaschel otev akasalma ben yen chacham adif minavi. Look what's brought in the idea of how the wise person is greater than the navi. And he says here it's because the chachma said bring a korban. Gam Perush Chachmas Shlomo Shemikabelis Mechinas Melech Shalom Shalo. Also, the wisdom of Shlomo is that it receives from the concept of the king, that the peace is unto him. Shaul Torah, and they asked Torah Yishlomo Tiferes, that corresponds with Tiferes. Above Netzach and Hod Yavi Asham, and he said, and the Torah says, bring a korban. Korban, like we said in the concept of korban, the kiruv. When they asked the Holy One, Basabihi Keser. So what does Keser say? Amar Yasa Tshuva, you should do Tshuva. Because the Torah comes from wisdom. But in Tshuva it says, and this day is mitzvah that I command you today. I'm not sure how that's from Kitzur. And how that's tshuva. Zayin, Kitzur Zayin. V'zeu inyan korban min behema, and that's the concept of the sacrifice from the behema. Af yimay de'achid pogim b'bchinas adam, even if sin, you blemish the concept of man. Hine idea korban ola chayus habehema l'shor shushlamayla mi b'chinas adam. So through the korban, the life force of the animal is elevated to its source that's higher than man. Like we said, Ban has a shorosh and sag, and that awakens the 13 attributes of mercy. That's higher than intellect. The long of countenance, arich, is in the gematria of korban. This needs to be looked into. This is from it's a Tzedek asking this question, and that in Sifav, the Bechinas Keser, Torah, that the concept of Keser is higher than Torah. That's the idea that they asked the Holy One Basbihi. And we can say Kibi Keser. So he said the korban is Erech HaPayim. And here we're saying, that seems to imply that it's Keser. But we're saying that, so which is it? Is the korban tshuva, which is the answer of Torah, of Tiferes, or is it a concept of Keser? The Keser is higher than Torah. If Shalom, we can say Kivi Keser, that Keser has two ideas. I guess, Atik Narich. So one corresponds with the concept of Torah, and the other corresponds with a higher idea. So the concept of Keser, as it's in Torah and the Korban, the Yav, that's the lower level. And the concept of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the higher level of Keser. So that's why Korban is Erech HaPayim, I guess Arich, whereas HaKadosh Baruch Hu might correspond with the idea of Atik. Of Atik, Inami, or we can say idea of mitzvos. Ne'amasha Kiddushanu. So this is back in the Kitzur, where you can say that in the mitzvos it says that you sanctified us for the Mach Bekudin Himnamach Yevarin de Malka, that the 248 commandments, or the 248 limbs of the king, Shuzav Nikra Malka Kadisha, which is Ziranpin, that's called the Holy King. The sacrifices are called the Holy of Holies. And that's the idea which is higher than Zah, the higher than man, which is so it's the idea of Bina or Atik, higher than Zah. It's called you'll be purified in front of Havaya. So that's why the Korban elevates you and purifies you. Chana prayed above Havaya, al Dafka, specifically above the level of Zah. And you have this curtain that divides between the holy and the Holy of Holies. How you have this, let there be a firmament, and it divides between above and below. And therefore, through the sacrifice, which is the likeness of, to atone on the holy, meaning that it's from Holy of Holies, that it atones for the holy, like on Yom Kippur. So I guess it's like the concept of Sag, which is higher than Ma or Av. So to prayer, which corresponds with the sacrifices, it says that Chana davened above Havaya, so it corresponds with the Korban, the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So the davening, the kiruv of the tefillah is the same level. Like the countenance of the water to the countenance, the reflected countenance. That is, that you have a countenance to a countenance, so that it shines the atik to ziran pinali deizek kain lev ha'adam le'ha'adam. So to the heart of man is to man ziran pin la'adam ha'makriv ha'korban. So the zah is to the man that brings the korban. So you have atik to zah, that's panim lapanim. Then you have lev adam la adam, that's in the lower level, man to ziranpin, which is the higher man.